Much of the news cycle recently has been Premier Doug Ford retorting tariff threats made by President-elect Donald Trump, and that was one of the main topics that fell into my conversation earlier today with Stephen Crawford. But before we take a look forward to 2025, I first asked the Oakville MPP to get his thoughts on 2024, what was a very active year for the provincial government.
Yeah, I will remember it as well as a very active year. There's been lots happening, obviously, in the province. I think one of the things that's been positive for the province is interest rates starting to come down with inflation coming down. I think that's very positive, definitely for consumers, for mortgage holders, and the economy in general. With respect to what the Ontario government has done in 2024, some of the notable, announcements would be the continuation of the gas tax cut here in Ontario, the fact that we are supporting families that are going through IVF. I think that was a very big announcement back in the fall. IVF can be a very expensive program for couples trying to have babies. And the fact that we, as an Ontario government, put through legislation that is supporting families that are trying to build their families, I think has been very, very well received. And I think there should probably have been more news on that, because that has been really impactful to many, many families. The Ontario government as well has, as you know, announced that there will be a $200 tax rebate for everybody in the province. So I think that's been a very warmly received as well. The check should be arriving actually very, very soon. And I think the reason we did that is we know it's been difficult the last couple of years with inflation, with affordability. And I think what's particularly notable about this is the fact that the Ontario government is in a pretty good financial position now. When we inherited office in 2018, we had the largest sub-sovereign debt in the world. We had a very large deficit. We've got a very good, clear path to balance right now. And that's the only major government in all of Canada that has actually a path to balance. I believe we'll be balanced in the next approximately 12 months. So that's really good news for the people of Ontario.
Definitely. We've seen all of those things happen as, very productive 2024. I think the more difficult question might be looking ahead to 2025. We have Premier Doug Ford hinting that there may be an election. That could happen. If it does happen, let's get this out of the way. I'm curious, if it happened in 6 weeks, would your name be on the ballot?
Yes, my name will be on the ballot. I've already been nominated as a candidate. I want to continue serving the people of Oakville. So if that happens, I will definitely be on the ballot.
Okay, so with that said, looking ahead to 2025, again, a bit uncertain because we don't know with President Trump coming in, perhaps tariffs taking effect. What are your priorities for Oakville and in all of your roles for 2025?
Yeah, I think it's really a big unknown in terms of what happens with these potential tariffs. We'll know potentially in a week. January 20th is when the president is getting inaugurated. But I've been working very hard with my cabinet and caucus colleagues in terms of potential responses if tariffs are put into place. Because if tariffs are put into place on all Canadian exports to the US, it will be very, very detrimental to the Canadian economy. About 33% of our GDP here in Canada, actually even higher in Ontario, probably closer to 40%, relies on exports to the United States. So this is absolutely critical. How we deal with this situation as a government, both at the federal, obviously, because they're in charge of national tariffs, so we need a strong strategy from them, but even at the provincial level is critically important. We're working on a strategy provincially to ensure that Ontario remains strong and that we will hit back if we are hit, but we will not hit first in this case. We hope that if there are any potential tariffs, that they will not be long-term, that they will be short-term. We will make sure that we'll be putting pain on congressmen, senators from states that are particularly reliant on Canadian trading, as an example. So we hope we don't have to go down that path, but we are prepared if we need to, because we have to protect the people of Ontario.
I actually was kind of surprised when we connected this morning. You weren't wearing your blue hat with Canada's Not for Sale.
I've got an order in to get one.
All right, well, listen, if there is one thing in the year 2025 that you personally wish to see completed by the end of the year, do you have that one thing that you would consider a success? Could be a personal mission that you have going on, could be a project that you'd like to see completed, could be something local, could be something a little bit greater in Ontario, but that one thing that you want to see signed, sealed, and delivered. Do you have one?
Well, I think the absolutely most important issue we're facing is the tariff issue. So I hope we have signed, sealed, and delivered that is off the table. And we've got our new AMCAN strategy, which is focused on building Fortress North America with critical minerals and investments. That's my number one overarching goal, because if we have that, I believe everything else will fall into place.